मॉर्निंग एवरीवन। इंडिया वॉच में आपका स्वागत है। आज की हमारी स्टोरीज होंगी द इंटरनल क्राइसिस इन पाकिस्तान, बोथ सिक्योरिटी एंड इकोनॉमिक। And the second story would be the report by Moody's Investor Service on centralized digital ID system, specifically Adar. It is finding lacunae in this system. So let's start with our first story. So the article that we are referring here is from the Hindu. That is the Pakistan's internal challenges and shifting dynamics. In this article, it's discussing about the Pakistan's Taliban challenge, and the other article that we'll be taking a look at is from the Hindu Business Line Things section. That is Pakistan staring down the barrel. The economy is mired in a range of internal and externally induced traps. Broken trade and peace with India may help. Look briefly at the issue. So the first is Pakistan's Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan challenge. So the TTP is emerging as a challenger to Pakistan state. So it is exploiting the structural grievances amongst Pakistan's polity and social body and the widespread radicalization in Pakistan society. This widespread radicalization is spearheaded by Pakistani army only as an instrument of its foreign policy to raise terrorist organizations. And there is also a degree of local sympathy with respect to Taliban, as there is a deep-seated resentment against the Pakistani establishment. So TTP leadership is using media very shrewdly. TTP leadership strategically comments on financial governance and corruption issues to rally public support, and TTP is also formulating a potent narrative exploiting existing divisions and grievances amongst Pakistani people and presenting Afghan Taliban as a success model. So the author here is talking about that Pakistani establishment had, like lofty ambitions of its historical pursuit of strategic depth in Afghanistan by shoring up or bolstering Afghan Taliban against Afghanistan's elected government. So the author is saying that life is coming full circle. Instead of Pakistan gaining strategic depth in Afghanistan, Afghan Taliban is sort of gaining strategic foothold in Pakistan's polity. And Pakistan's establishment want Afghan Taliban to act against TTP. But Afghan Taliban cannot and is not willing to take any military action against TTP for the simple reason that उड़ते तीर के साथ कोई पंगा नहीं लेना चाहता होता. So the author is suggesting that the need of the hour is that there is need for a thorough re-evaluation of policy of cultivating radical Islamist groups, both domestically and internationally. Clearly, this strategy backfires. America saw this in its strategy of countering Soviet Union by propagating a radicalization of Afghanistan in the form of Afghan Taliban, and Pakistan should understand from those experiences because it is still not backtracking on this policy. Because all the terrorist organizations in the world, international terrorist organizations, have the one aim of capturing territory and establishing governments, be it Al Qaeda, be it Islamic State, be it Afghan Taliban, and be it Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. So Pakistan's foreign policy's major two targets for Afghanistan and India. Clearly, India is not a weak target, and terrorist establishment or extremist establishment are realizing that. So now they are targeting the weak player in this scenario, which is Pakistani government. Also, like a lot of economic resources are wasted in the pursuit of radicalization and giving support to these radical Islamist groups in the way of madrasas and other funding. So these funds would be better utilized in shoring up its economy, going for public investments and boosting economic activity. So the second article from Hindu Business Line, which is discussing the economic woes of Pakistan. So it is saying that Afghanistan has taken so many IMF loans. It has taken 22 IMF loans in its history, which averages about one loan every 3.5 years. And the latest loan taken by Pakistan is of $3 billion that in July. So even Pakistani chief is now pleading to Pakistani government that please tax the rich more and help the poor. And it was felt that the IMF chief had a desperation in her voice. Currently, Pakistan doesn't produce enough to earn dollars, to earn foreign exchange, to even service its imports. And the inflation is greater than 30%. So situation is very bad. In India, if the inflation goes, beyond 6%, there is panic all around. So just imagine what will be happening with the inflation of 30%. And HDI's rank of Pakistan is 161 out of 185 countries. So it's clearly a disaster. So this time around, the army chief is doing the rounds with the begging bowl. The army chief is going to the Arab countries like Saudi, UAE, and Qatar and asking for help and calling them investments so that it can say that Pakistan is a like attractive investment destination. Army needs to set its house in order, stop its extravagant spending on arms and radicalization. So the author is saying that relief can come if Pakistan open its land borders trade with India and seek India's help economically and also could open its tourism sector to Indian tourists. But lot of ground work needs to be done with that regard. Like पहले तो we will be needing our POK back and also we'll need Lahore. Jokes aside, so that's a long shot. There needs to be lot of groundwork, lot of mutual trust building to go to come about this pass. Let's come to our second story. That is Identity Pangs. A report on global digital IDs bring Adhar's limitations, risks in focus. So this is basically critique of our Adhar system. So it is always useful to look at the criticism. The report is formulated by Moody's Investor Service. It has red flagged security and privacy risks from centralized digital ID systems. It has also questioned Adhar's biometric based authentication system to verify identities, especially for manual laborers in hot and humid climates. So the report has mooted decentralized ID systems that gives users more control over their data. Supreme Court of India have made enrolling in to Aadhaar a voluntary choice, but the government have made it mandatory for availing welfare benefits, opening bank accounts, provident fund account, telephone connections, and remitting taxes. So practically, it's mandatory to enroll into Aadhaar. So there are issues like people are excluded from services for the lack of Aadhaar. Old people and laborers are struggling to confirm their fingerprints and retina scans, and then they are not able to avail the benefit. And even the CAG report, Comptroller Auditor General of India's audit report, found lapses in Aadhaar system, which jeopardizes privacy and data security. And it also flags the faulty enrollment process, which leads to duplication and faulty biometrics being recorded. That's it for today. Thank you for logging into India Watch and keep supporting us and keep showering your love on us.